All right, ladies and gentlemen, MrSotko here. Welcome back to the channel. I've got a whole bunch of good crypto news, and it's yet another episode of, oh boy, what did Craig Wright do now? Yet again. So Craig Wright sends his lawyers against Bitcoin developers. So let me give you some context before I start talking about this. About a year or so ago, I made a video talking about how Craig Wright effectively has, or at least claimed to have, on the Tulip Trust in this whole court document thing, basically hacked Bitcoin. The one FEEX address, the one FEEX address, that Mark Carpella says that is some of the stolen Bitcoin that came from Mt. Gox, and somebody ended up putting it in the one FEEX address, and it's been sitting there dormant ever since. About 80,000 Bitcoin. Now, in the court against Dave Kleiman, he basically gave the court a huge list of addresses that all together accumulate to about 1 or 1.1 million Bitcoin or so. And one of those addresses, or several of those addresses, were actually signed by other people, proving that he didn't actually even own those addresses. And one of them in particular, again, was the one FEEX address, which allegedly has 80,000 stolen Bitcoin in it. And he basically tried to claim that. Now, and during that, let me back up just a bit again. And during that, he basically tried to reach out to Blockstream developers and with his lawyers saying that Blockstream should give that Bitcoin back to Craig Wright. The problem is that all Blockstream does and these various Bitcoin developers is work on the code and attempt to implement that, because it is decentralized and people have to choose to implement that code or not. And they have nothing to do with the chain at all. In fact, even Satoshi Nakamoto himself could not give you 80,000 Bitcoin if he wanted to. That's just not how it works. Once you set blockchain in motion, it cannot be unchanged, or at least it is very, very difficult to do that without just completely forking. So now, the outspoken Australian Craig Wright, dubbed Fake Toshi, due to his unproven claims that he's Satoshi Nakamoto, UK-based litigation law firm Ontier said it began legal proceedings against a number of unspecified Bitcoin Cash, and even some Bitcoin SV developers, cause reasons, on behalf of Tulip Trading Limited, controlled by Wright. Per the firm, TTL is requesting that the developers enable TTL, whatever that means, to regain access to and control of its Bitcoin, allegedly stolen from Wright in February 2020. Now, this one FEEX address that has 80,000 Bitcoin on it, once again, was allegedly has 80,000 Bitcoin that was stolen from Mt. Gox. And Craig Wright claimed that he owned that address, but at the same time claimed that that address was stolen from him, and then tried to make the Blockstream developers give him back the Bitcoin, which is just, it's not how that works at all. It says the developers owe Bitcoin owners both tortious and fiduciary duties under English law as a result of the high level of power they control, they hold over their respective blockchains. Ontier said, adding that the value of the claim as of today's market rates would be in excess of about $4.94 billion. According to Paul Ferguson, partner at Ontier, the fact that someone has stolen Tulip Trading's digitally held private Bitcoin keys does not prevent developers from deploying code to enable the rightful owner to regain control of its Bitcoin. It kind of does. Bitcoin just doesn't work like that. And if you were to give Craig Wright 80,000 Bitcoin, it would have to be in a new fork of Bitcoin entirely. And then that fork of Bitcoin, nobody would accept and would just die. Or if it continued to run because some idiots ran the nodes to run that new fork of Bitcoin, it would be effectively useless and effectively fraudulent Bitcoin. So it's just not how it works at all. Sure, developers could fork, but the whole world would have to agree on that fork. Otherwise, nobody would run the nodes. It makes no sense. It's amazing. You can't even make this stuff up. Says, this is crazy. The developers don't run these chains, somebody said. They just maintain the code bases. This is like threatening Linux developers because you lost your Bank of America password, a partner at U.S. law firm Anderson Kill said. Somebody says, if you hold Bitcoin and you need to seriously start campaigning to get Bitcoin as fee delisted everywhere and fight back hard against this rubbish. If he scares away our best developers and distracts them with legal rubbish, he's hurting Bitcoin's technical progress. So that's basically what he's trying to do here, is just scare away developers or hurt the technical progress. Because I think even if you listen to Craig Wright, he does a lot of talks and things like that, technical talks. It's pretty easy to just YouTube and find them. He's actually a somewhat articulate man. It really is, which is surprising, I know, to hear, like, after you just read all that. And he seems intelligent, and he seems very articulate. So I think this is really, this is true. No person who knows anything about Bitcoin would assume that you can just take a bunch of Bitcoin from somebody else because they're a developer and would move it over, considering that, Craig Wright is a computer scientist. He would know that this is not possible. So this is clearly just some kind of act, either to make Bitcoin SV look better somehow, or just hurt the progress of Bitcoin in general. I can't figure out which one, maybe both. Moving on, MicroStrategy purchases another $1 billion worth of Bitcoin and now owns 90,000. So the past, maybe a few videos ago, I was talking about how MicroStrategy was planning to buy $900 million worth of Bitcoin. They also said that they would attempt to buy $1 billion worth of Bitcoin if the company that would want to give, the institution that would want to give them that money would buy $1 billion in bonds. Their goal was 900 million, but they also wanted 1 billion, and it happened. So business intelligence firm MicroStrategy increased its Bitcoin holdings by 27% on Wednesday after purchasing an additional 19,452 coins, making its total haul 90,531 Bitcoin. Announced on the company's website on Wednesday, the coins were reportedly purchased for approximately $52,765 per coin. So they kind of got it at the high, a little bit of the high on there. I think that as it was falling, maybe they bought it, equating to an outlay of just over $1 billion. MicroStrategy CEO Michael Saylor said the firm's focus was now twofold: grow its analytics software enterprise and buy more Bitcoin. Isn't that just the goal of everybody here, is buy more Bitcoin? Of course it is. MicroStrategy, I'm really down with your strategy on that one. Buy more Bitcoin. It's a simple strategy, but it is an effective one. Saylor said the company remains focused on our two corporate strategies of growing their analytics software business and acquiring and holding more Bitcoin. Of course, in the 6 months since MicroStrategy announced its first $250 million investment in Bitcoin, the company has gone on to spend in excess of $4 billion on the digital asset. Saylor said there was no plan to stop buying BTC anytime soon. So they bought a little bit over $1 billion in Bitcoin. So, hey, breaking them goals, MicroStrategy. Good for you. Moving on, the Fed's system that allows banks to send money back and forth went down for several hours, but Bitcoin doesn't. So basically today, some of you may have known, if you were out and about and you attempted to use your debit or a credit card and you were declined. In fact, I was in a Popeyes earlier, about 3, maybe 4 hours ago or so, and I went through the whole line, boop, 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 waiting to take my order, and there was no signs, there was no piece of paper that says cash only or anything, and I make my order. This took a whole 10 minutes of my time, right, going through the line and stuff. I make my order, and he says, do you have cash? And I said, no, I don't. I think I had like $2 on me. And he says, we're only taking cash only. Our chip reader is down. So at the time, I didn't realize that it was the entire Federal Reserve that went under for a short period of time. But I was like, okay, so I had to get money. But so this never happens with Bitcoin. This is a great plus for Bitcoin. Unfortunately, Bitcoin could definitely not handle the entire world's monetary transaction system, but it's certainly a good bet for blockchain. And we can see here there's a service notice status, and some of the checks are positive now, but earlier they were like mostly red, which basically just shows that these operations and systems are down. and nobody could make any debit or credit card purchases. So hey, that's fun. The Federal Reserve's system that allows financial institutions to send money back and forth electronically went down for several hours on Wednesday, but appeared to be coming back online later in the afternoon. Oh, it appeared so. That's good. The operational error, as the Fed described it, impacted multiple services, including its pivotal automated clearinghouse system, which connects depository and related institutions sending electronic debit and credit transfers. Good for us. Good for the people. This is so good. I love this. I love how money can just stop working all of a sudden. There were no initial indications that foul play was suspected. Well, that's good. Just somebody messed up real bad. So no foul play. We just messed up the entire financial system. It's okay, guys. We'll have it back online in like 3 hours. Along with the Fed, ACH services, other systems were impacted, including Check 21, Fed Cash, Fed Wire, and National Settlement Service. So basically everything just went down for a few hours. Don't worry about it. It's not like this couldn't happen in the future or anything like that for a really long extended period of time. This is totally fine. This is fine. I don't even know why I put this article up here. It's not even relevant to crypto or anything, right? Moving on here, 177-year-old Swiss bank adds Bitcoin and Ethereum trading. So yet another institution, yet another company, yet another bank decides to be buying Bitcoin. 2021 is going to be a big year. I'm gonna say it every video if I have to make you guys believe me. Subscribe. Swiss bank Bourdier and C. I'm just going to call it that because my Swiss, rather, not so good. Bourdier and C, a Swiss bank that was founded in 1844, has added cryptocurrency trading to its list of services, according to a press release. We've seen increasing demand from our clients to diversify into alternative asset classes, such as digital assets. The new service allows Bourdier's clients to buy, hold, and trade cryptos, including Bitcoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash, and Tezos. Always Tezos. What's up with Tezos and the institutions loving Tezos? Man, institutions love Tezos. The firm plans to expand the number of coins it offers in the future. And that's all we're going to say about this article. It's just yet another bank, yet another institution, yet another company getting in and buying a bunch of Bitcoin. Again, better buy your Bitcoin before all of these guys do, because it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Gold is going down. Who knows? Sooner or later, a stock market crash, and you're going to want your Bitcoin. Fed chair says it's up to Congress to bring a digital dollar to the market. And so basically what I do on this channel, if you're a first-time watcher, I've been doing this for about 4 years now. And what I do is I get all of the good news for the day. Sometimes I make tutorials, how-tos, or various other videos such as, oh boy, what did Craig Wright do now? And I slap it all together and I get rid of the garbage. I take all that garbage news that you don't want to wade through. You don't want to look at all this nonsense. You don't want to look at all that TA news where it's just like, this is why Bitcoin could be worth blah, blah, blah. And it's just a bunch of nonsense TA from somebody. I take all that and I throw it in the garbage and I give you guys the good stuff. I brought up this because in my hunt for news today, I found numerous articles talking about the Fed chair bringing a digital dollar, or the federal digital dollar, or a Canadian digital dollar. I've also seen Bill Gates's digital money as well. So get ready. Eventually, it's going to happen for sure. I would put any money, I would put any monetary bet that at some point in the future, I don't think anybody would even bet against this because it's pretty hard to disagree with. There's going to be a digital currency, and they're going to get rid of the actual fiat dollar, the cottony, papery bills. Why? Well, because with a blockchain or digital currency, you would never be able to use money. You would never be able to go to the old local drug dealer's house. You'd never be able to go and just buy somebody's lawnmower or something off of Craigslist or from, some kind of over-the-counter thing. You would never be able to do that. You would be taxed on literally everything that you buy. It would be very difficult to go out and buy things with any anonymity in any way, shape, or form. And that's a good thing. So they're going to get all their taxes from that. Also, imagine connecting a fiat digital blockchain, like a Federal Reserve coin, to Bitcoin and all of the other blockchains. So whenever you go to buy Bitcoin or Ethereum or any other cryptocurrency, now we have a a full connection between all of the blockchains, because you have to use your money to go back and forth. And then you would be able to go back through Bitcoin history even better than before, than you can already, and find people. It's basically the Great Devil. The digital Federal Reserve coin, or whatever your particular central bank is in your country. It's going to happen. And it's going to be dystopian at best. So, Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell, excuse me, said 2021 will likely have the central bank engaging with the public and lawmakers regarding the digital dollar. So, likely, maybe not in 2021 that they're going to have this, but I'm sure they're talking about it quite a bit. In a House Financial Services Committee hearing today, Powell responded to questions from Representative Patrick McHenry, who said the digital dollar would likely face national and economic security issues for the United States. Powell said that there were many concerns surrounding the project, and the Fed intended to reach out to the public. This is going to be the year in which we engage with the public pretty actively, including some public events that we're working on. Oh, I'm sure those are going to be just such a blast. Is there going to be a play area for the kids? He said, in the meantime, we're working on the technical challenges and also collaborating and sharing work with other central banks around the world that are doing this. Aren't you guys all like the same thing anyway? With other central banks, don't you guys all like collaborate anyway? I don't know about that. Powell added to that the Fed needed to consider the health and other markets when creating a digital dollar. And so I agree on that there's probably a lot of security issues. There's probably a whole bunch of logistical issues doing this. But think about it from the Federal Reserve point of view, that if you didn't actually have to print money, it would be much easier to print just digital dollars or deflate digital dollars. So that's a plus for them. Printing money probably costs a lot of money. I mean, there's a lot of research. You ever look at a $100 bill? It'll blow your mind, the amount of all that goofy stuff in it, right? And that costs a lot of money to implement. It costs a lot of money to pay all the workers to cut the bills and send the bills out. It costs a lot of money to put the bills in trucks and then send them across the country and then pay somebody to take it out of the truck and put it in the bank and then the bank to count it. So there's a lot of work that goes along with it. And instead, we could just say, okay, this bank over here needs 10 million in liquidity or a loan or money, right? So we just go boop, 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 and send it on over. And they look at it, $10 million. Okay, good. We're good to go. That's it. And it would be certainly a lot easier for them. It would cost a lot less, but there's probably a lot of logistical issues. Like, how do we get this in the hands of extremely poor people, right? It's easy to put $1 in the hands of an extremely poor person, but how hard is it to, get a cell phone that costs $1,000 so that they can have a digital wallet? How would we do that? So I'm sure there's a lot of technical issues, but trust me, it's the Great Devil for sure. When it happens, it's not going to be good. Moving on here to CoinMarketCap, back to that $1.5 trillion market cap, 50,300 Bitcoin. So we're recovering a little bit. You can see that devastation we occurred over the past couple days, bringing us down to under 50,000. Not too big of a deal. 1,646 Ethereum. Binance Coin still just a plague on the market, and that number 3 cap as a real nice centralized coin there. Cardano still over $1, so doing pretty good there. But the markets look like they're trying to recover. We can see it kind of going back down at the moment, but we'll have to see where it's going to go from there. I think it depends on the stock world as well. I think they're well correlated by now, the crypto world and the stock world. Should they be? No, again, as I say, but just with all the new Wall Street traders and institutions and companies buying it, I think there's a lot of similarity between the trading of stocks and the trading of crypto. And of course, they're going to use the same technical analysis and the same bots and the same buying and selling methods, etc. So it's become very correlated. And I think if the stock market crashes pretty bad, which I think we're due for that sometime soon, within a year, 2 years at least, 3. And I think it might be going down from there, but we'll have to see. That's all I have for you guys today. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, like the video, share the video. That helps me out a lot. My social media in the description below. Give me a follow on those if you get the opportunity to do so. And as usual, I will see you guys next time.